Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm back with a brand new episode of What If Naruto was Shisui's brother with a yellow Sharingan. Remember to get this one too. 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also, guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime. Symbol of What If Naruto was neglected with chaos magic, yes. If you're new, I indeed have 3 more channels which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. All the links will be down in the description, so go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, guys. So yeah, without further ado or wasting more time, how about we get right into this brand new episode? Let's begin now, guys. So the last part we left off, we started in the past. The masked man that possessed a Sharingan was observing Naruto on the day where Itachi was killing everyone for the first time and Naruto found him. On that day, the masked man saw something rather interesting. It was Naruto's eyes. Yes, he observed them with a curiosity, unlike any other. Something was special about them, he noticed. But it wasn't just that. Even on the bridge, the masked man was there as well, along with a creature known as Zetsu. It wasn't even that alone. In the Forest of Death, when they fought Orochimaru, the masked man was there as well. He was always there watching Naruto, watching as his strength grew, watching as he gained more and more and more. Skipping to the present time, Tsunade Senju had returned back to the village after they had returned for her. It was a couple of years now in the future as she was taking the title of Hokage. Mito had been broken by Naruto's death. She didn't want to return to the village, she just wanted to continue on with the mission. It wasn't just her though, Sasuke as well. Naruto's death had put a huge strain on all of them. Kakashi stepping away. Mito feeling lost and empty as she watched Naruto die and she was unable to do anything about it. Over the past couple of years, Jiraiya had trained her. She pushed herself on a daily basis, again and again and again and again and again and again, to reach where she was now, as she did everything that was possible to grow her strength, because she wanted revenge. Itachi took Naruto away from her. She was planning on finding and killing the Uchiha for what he did. Yes, that was one of her main goals now. She couldn't live with herself if she failed. To revenge Naruto's death, she will avenge him. Tsunade got an alert as Gaara was taken by the Akatsuki. A team was sent out. Team 7 with the help of Sakura Haruno, an apprentice of Tsunade. Together they made their way to the sand. It wasn't hard as Temari had accompanied them, so they bypassed any limitations. They picked up Lady Chiyo along the way, and with that they ventured out. However, a distance away, as Gaara was having the life and tail be sucked out of him, the leader spoke to someone within the darkness. That same masked man, who told him that he was going to send a new recruit. While he wasn't a direct member of the organization, the new recruit was working under the masked man, and the leader wasn't quite sure who he was. He was wearing a hood. The problem was, you could not see his face. He had a mask on, but the hood was covered in shadows. And it doesn't matter the breeze or what blew it, it was not revealing his face. He told the hood individual to make sure he stalled them. Fortunately for Team 7 though, they ran into Team Guy. As they came across their new opponent, all of them struck at once. However, even with Guy using the third gate, the person was unbelievably powerful. Neji could not even see bypass anything. His chakra was so dense and so powerful that it was affecting Neji's vision. Mito went in ruthlessly to cut this person down. She despised all members of this organization, and she was going to end all of them if it was the last thing that she did. However, she was knocked away. As the others were cast under a genjutsu, Kakashi was mortified that he was cast under a genjutsu. Him and Sasuke, the two Sharingan user, as it made him think about something in the past, but it couldn't be. The battle dragged on as he stalled them long enough for the Akatsuki to take the One Tails away from Gaara. Upon arriving, Mito lost her cool. She was angry, she was upset, violent. She was able to calm herself down though when Chiyo said something. She lost her cool once again. Lady Chiyo was surprised that another ninja from another village would care this much for another one. She found it truly shocking, so she decided that maybe it was worth to bet on the future. Using her own life, she brought Gaara back to this world. Upon reporting back to Tsunade at the village, she was rather surprised to hear about this. She knew the Akatsuki members were strong, however, for one member alone to hold off two teams, especially with two Jonins, she could only imagine how much others were there that were that powerful. Skipping towards the masked man, the other masked individual was none other than Naruto. Rather angry as he told the man that he wouldn't allow the Akatsuki members to go after Mito. He promised him a world where there would be nothing but peace and prosperity, and Mito would live in that world. Upon kidnapping Naruto, he told Naruto everything. Why Itachi did what he did, what the village did, what this world did. Why his brother chose to sacrifice himself instead of letting him know. Because the hatred that everyone has. The hatred that Uchiha is mostly course with. Naruto did not know who was under the mask, however. He accepted the man. He accepted what he has to offer. And with acceptance, come change. Naruto had been trained, ruthlessly, to become the strongest form of himself that he possibly can. Not to mention with his unusual eyes and his unusual power. However, there was things that Naruto wanted out of this. First thing first, Danzo Shimura will not be coming to this new world. He will not get to live the life of prosperity that he desired. When the masked man went away, Naruto's vision had changed completely. Because he did not seek to put anyone in a genjutsu. His plans were different. From the moment he found out the truth, his mind was set in a way that he had to do something. In a way that he had to sacrifice a lot. However, to protect the ones that he loved, he would risk his own life. And that is exactly what he's going to do. So yeah guys, basically that's what I left off. You guys can switch across the playcheck to yourself so to begin this new episode. It was currently nighttime within Konoha, as a rift opened in space in the forest. Tearing open, two people emerged, one of them being Naruto, the other one being the masked man. Suddenly, a white Zetsu clone jumped from Naruto as he came off like a spawn, and he sucked himself into the ground, his body looking like a liquid substance. The masked man turned towards Naruto. Remember, the rest of the world believed that Naruto Uchiha perished over 3 years ago. We cannot have people interrupting our plans this late in the stage. Do you understand? He asks. You lived up to your part of the bargain by bringing me here to end this man. I will live up to mine, said Naruto. Good. With that, White Zetsu came from the ground. Found him, boss, he said, looking up towards Naruto. The masked man started to suck himself away in a swirling vortex. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Don't keep me waiting, he said. And with that, he was gone. Moments later, Danzo Shamiro was going through a list of people that he had dirt on. He couldn't be slacking nowadays. This woman was not like Hiruzen. She was not like Hiruzen one bit. She was watching him very carefully. A simple mistake, a simple step in the wrong direction would get him on her bad list. And he couldn't afford to have someone focus too much on him while he was doing his business. So he's been really careful. Danzo looked up when he saw two of his root agents returning after he had just sent them out a moment ago. Confusion marred his face. Why have you two returned, he asked. They did not respond though. Danzo narrowed his gaze as three of his men descended from the upper levels. Being the distance between him and the other two that was marching forward. However, Danzo was always backed by his two special ninjas, Fu and Torun. Fu narrowed his eyes as he noticed something. Immediately dropping into his stance, he took over the mind of the one on the left, causing Torun to catch his body, stopping the man from swinging the kunai at the other root comrade. Danzo got to his feet, finding this act rather unbelievable. The other one was easily taken down by the other two. As Fu twitched before, the other one took down the one that Fu was containing. Fu returned back to his body, Torun helping him back to his feet. Danzo moved forward, wondering what the hell was going on. You could see that he was not pleased. The crease, the way he stepped, looking down towards the two restrained ninjas. Danzo's eyes widened as he jumped away. Boom! An explosion went off, destroying the bridge. His three ninjas plus the two that was betraying him were reduced to ashes. Danzo guarded himself as Fu and Torun stood behind him when suddenly he heard a gurgle. Spinning around, he watched as Fu cut down Torun right there, slitting his throat without hesitation. Danzo was mortified as he backed away. What have you done? He said. Anger. Torun was one of his top men, possessing a very unique technique because of his link with the Abermes. But Fu did not answer, he simply jumped off. He landed directly on his head, ending his own life. Danzo was confused until he felt a heat, a strange wave of heat that circulated through the entire base. Turning, he finally saw the person. Am I to presume that you're the one behind all of this? You would presume correctly. Tell me, what did you do to Fu? Danzo said, angry and curious. The mind is a very powerful weapon, even more so for a Yamanaka. However, the moment he entered the mind of that subordinate, he came across me who was already in control. So I simply took control of him as well. It was foolish of him to leave his body unoccupied. I have no idea who you are, how you even got in Konoha, let alone got down here. However, you made a grave mistake. Is that so? The person reached as they pulled out a mask. I believe this belonged to one of them. He tossed the mask on the ground. Danzo narrowed his gaze. What have you done? It's simple. I've slaughtered them all. I presume that this is not the extent of what you possess. Others are on missions, if I'm not mistaken. However, the number down here would have to do. After all, I can't allow any survivors. Reaching up, he pulled his hood down. For the first time in a long while, Danzo was shocked, as he couldn't believe what he was looking at. Out of all people he expected to see, this boy was not one of them. Danzo cursed his luck. It was nighttime. Most of his men were currently out. The numbers were few here, and it seems that the boy had eliminated the few that was down here, even managing to kill 2 of his top people. Has his visual powers gotten so much better than the last time he was here? Having no idea what he was up to, Danzo decided to play this very cautiously. The ability for him to manipulate Fu's mind by simply sharing a consciousness with him was a truly astonishing feat. And his root ninjas were no weakling, so this boy, he had grown powerful. However, Danzo decided to play the part. Of all the people I expected to see, you were not one of them. I thought you perished over 3 years ago. Most time in this world, death can be an illusion, said Naruto as he stepped forward. You're not gonna ask why I'm here. You're not going to ask why I'm doing this. I presume you're going to tell me, Danzo said, slowly unclicking the seal that was on his arm that prevented him from using his most powerful tool as he narrowed his gaze dangerously. This boy and his eyes always fascinate him, but now he was fighting on the wrong side. Naruto's fist clenched violently. His eyes could see the Sharingan, the color of the chakra. So you have my brother eyes, said Naruto. One of them at least. His fist was clenching tightly. You knew the capability that he possessed. He told me about his Mangekyou ability. When I heard about it, I was worried, knowing that if anyone else found out about this, they would see him as a threat. But none more so than you. After all, my brother could have stopped Fukaku by using that power of his. But he did not. And now I'm seeing that you're the one responsible. After all, you have his eye. But not just that. You were involved in the slaughter of my clan, and yet you dare use your eyes as what? Trophy? A sign that you won? Weapons for yourself? Naruto said, stepping forward. There is only one other person that knew about this. I presume that Itachi and you have a nice conversation. Him breaking rules that he should not. Breaking rules? That's what you have to say. After what you put him through, coming here I never felt any sympathy on what I was going to do to you. But now, I just want to see you suffer, said Naruto. I'm afraid I can't allow you to kill me. However, you will serve Konoha one way or another. Danzo pulled his cane back and launched it, enhancing it with Winjutsu. There was a blade at the tip of the cane. However, the man was shocked when Naruto simply caught it with ease. Back in the days, Naruto was able to strengthen himself. Whenever he forcefully pushed his chakra out, it strengthened his body to an extreme degree. Over the past couple of years, he's learned how to control it, to strengthen one part of his body significantly greater than any other part. Think of it as the super strength technique. However, the difference was, Naruto wasn't only physical, it also repelled genjutsu as well, preventing anyone from getting into his system with their chakra. It also prevented others from able to study his chakra flow, those with special eyes, because it was just too much and being forcefully shoved out and kept at one point. Danzo immediately pulled a shuriken and blew on it. It became large with a spinning vortex of wind. He launched it towards Naruto, another one quickly, building in his hand as Naruto flipped. Danzo launched it. All of them aimed to subdue the boy as quickly as possible as he dashed forward. He flipped a kunai before he spun, sweeping at Naruto's feet. The moment Naruto jumped up, Danzo grabbed the kunai and swung it towards his stomach area. However, he was shocked when Naruto's hand lashed out and grabbed onto his, stopping him. Danzo tried to overpower him with raw force, but he failed miserably. As Naruto looked down towards him, burn. That was all he said. A wave of flames slammed into Danzo like a hurricane, screaming out in pain as his body was swallowed and enveloped. Naruto ducked as Danzo's feet passed his head. Flipping away, Naruto landed. Danzo was once again alive, amongst the living. Naruto narrowed his eyes on the man and dashed forward. No words were said as they clashed. Danzo was startled. He did not reinforce his hands with chakra because he was too busy blowing wind from his mouth. Danzo felt the bones in his hand crack when their fists connected. This boy's strength, it seemed to rival or even beyond Tsunade's. Crashing into his throne, Danzo lay there dead. However, once again he reappeared, destroying the small remainder of the bridge, causing Naruto to fall. Danzo zooped downwards, passing Naruto, using wind to modify himself. Now below, he blazed through hand sign and spray a powerful jet of wind. It slammed into Naruto. It crashed him into the wall, causing Danzo to dash forward, running through hand sign as he prepared a seal to encapsulate the boy just for a short amount of time until he could subdue him. However, Danzo's head was split clean open. Danzo reappeared, looking at his hand. I died? Confusion marred his vision. Once again, Danzo looked at his hand. Confusion. Danzo looked at his hand once again. Another eye closed. The man jumped away, backing himself up against the wall, confused and not understanding what was going on. How was this possible? 3 eyes within seconds. There is nowhere to run. Once again, Danzo reappeared. He started to pant, his heart beating. Looking around, how are you doing this? He roared out as he started to lose his composure. Calm down, he told himself. Fighting with arrogance, fighting with rage would only get you killed. A quote from his sensei. How was the boy taking him down though? Danzo blinked as once again he reappeared. Stepping away, Danzo jumped, jumping down to the lower floor, but he never made it. He reappeared once again. Mortified and shocked, Danzo immediately skipped off, moving as fast as he possibly can. He wanted to clear some distance between them because he could not see the boy. He could not see him anywhere. He then realized an illusion. However, had the boy really figured out his technique that fast? Starting to pulse his chakra, Danzo tried to see by the genjutsu. That is when he saw the eyes on his hand once again opened. He took a breath. To think that the boy genjutsu was this powerful, to fool him despite the eye that he possessed. Truly fascinating, Danzo thought. He looked up as their Naruto stood. Danzo looked up with a smile. You've impressed me. It seems like Itachi taught you a lot. However, the fact that you're here made me believe that something happened. Itachi would never risk you coming here and trying to kill me. Because if the truth was to come out, it would just discredit the Uchiha name even more. And he loves his brother too much to let that happen. You talk too much. Danzo looked down as he saw a kunai buried in his chest. Once again he died. Damn it, he let his guard down, immediately blowing out. Wind onto his kunai, he turned into a blade as he swiped. Naruto ducked underneath. Danzo lashed out with a heel. Naruto slapped it down. Danzo brought his other arm around. However, Naruto flipped right in the center. Danzo smirked there as he used wind to push his blade down as he drive it through Naruto's stomach, pinning him down to the ground. Danzo smirked slightly. It's over, he said. Do not worry. I have no intention of killing you. Flashing through hand sign, he slammed his hand in Naruto's gut, causing Naruto to squirm. What is this? Said Naruto. A seal to bind you for now. Danzo said as he grabbed the child and started to move. He had a powerful cell down here, where he would lock him away. Danzo arrived and threw Naruto inside as he slammed the door shut. He activated the seal, all of them suppressing Naruto chakra on the inside. Danzo stopped for a moment as he took a breath. He has grown powerful, but still, he was able to handle it. The child did kill his people, which angered him. However, he will more than make up for that. He would use the boy to restart the Uchiha clan himself, to make a better clan filled with nothing but ruthless warriors. That brought a smile to Danzo's face. He will make sure that the future of Konoha is safe. It didn't matter what it takes, the future will still be Konoha's. Do not worry, Danzo said, hearing him squirm. Your life will be used for a good purpose. Tell me, said Naruto, did you just despise the Uchiha clan? Is that why you didn't allow my brother to do what he had to do? Well, you are right about one thing. I came to kill your brother. But even then, even caught off guard, he was still a formidable shinobi. The suicide was actually truthful. He fell to his death, not wanting another. To gain that powerful eye of his, it's a good thing I was able to get one. As for your clan, I never trusted them, and I would never trust them. Your people are growing too powerful over time for them to even think of trying to take over the village. That was a betrayal that I couldn't allow to happen. This goes all the way back to your ancestor. Yes, Madara Uchiha. I couldn't allow another like him to rise. And you were actually on the watching list for that, having a Sharingan that none others had ever seen. However, even after a deal was struck, Itachi came to me, telling me that you will not die. And if I did go after you, he would come for me. Hiruzen also protected you. That's the only reason why you're still amongst the living, because I would have taken your eyes already. So as you can see, everything was for a purpose. Your brother served his purpose. I understand now, said Naruto. Danzo froze up as he turned. Naruto was standing behind him. I understand why he did what he did. To save me. He knew what would have happened. He always told me that I possess a light that many others could only dream of. But now that light has been tainted by darkness, and I don't see any way for it to ever come back. However, he made the sacrifice because he wanted to make sure that I lived. He wanted to make sure that the clan prospered, but in the end, Itachi was given no choice. By you. And people just like you, said Naruto. But it doesn't matter anymore. I'll fix this broken world. Danzo looked towards a cell that started to change. Danzo reached up as he touched his eye. Wait, his hand was covered in blood. Blinking several times, Danzo saw the place change back to the bridge. What is this? What's going on? He said, confused and not understanding. It doesn't matter how many Sharingan you possess. You will never be a true Uchiha. Thus, you will never overcome my eyes. A Genjutsu? All this time? Those deaths that you thought were illusion, they were not. From the moment you looked at me, you saw my original dark eyes, but what you didn't see were these. As Danzo looked up at strange eyes, looking at him, no longer were they the normal Totem Sharingan. They were the Mangekyo form. His Mangekyo was unusual, a circle, like a tiny ball of sun, and the fact that it was golden also gave it that as well. And it had 4 triangles on each side, one above, one down below, one to the left and one to the right. Upon learning everything, Naruto anger, rage, sadness. It brought out the most powerful form of the Sharingan. The Mangekyou Sharingan. All this time Danzo said shock. Looking down, Danzo realized, as the pain was just reaching him, Naruto had severed his arm and removed the eye. All this time Naruto had been killing him. While he believed that it was an illusion, it was actually Naruto simply making him believe that it wasn't an illusion. So from the moment the child came, an illusion had been cast. But he believed that he came out of the illusion when he was still under the illusion, but Naruto made him believe that it wasn't. Danzo stepped back, mortified, afraid, as he looked at those golden eyes. They stalked him, they watched him, they prey upon his very soul. What now? Are you afraid? Knowing that your time has come, that your life is about to be snuffed out like all the others that you've snuffed away in the past. Danzo turned as he started to run away. He had to move quickly. However, the man winks out in pain as he collapsed down to the ground. As Naruto had appeared with speed that he could not even escape, with a single punch right in his spine. Agony coursed through Danzo as he collapsed. He dropped on the ground as he tried to crawl as Naruto stepped down in his spine as he screamed, kicking him over. Naruto looked down towards him. What now? Out of place. Out of options. What are you going to do now? Said Naruto. How are you going to escape this one? Whose life are you going to sacrifice for this one? Answer me. You are so willing and easily to sacrifice Uchiha's life. Now whose will it be? I won't allow you. I won't allow you to make Konoha fall, Danzo said. Even in your final moments, that is what you have to say. Danzo activated the seal on his chest. The 4 sealing symbol. It appeared. A spear. It started to suck Naruto in. It would imprison everything within his corpse, as Danzo planned on taking Naruto down with him as well. This threat couldn't be allowed to live and face Konoha, Danzo thought. However, the seal was actually powerful enough to drag Naruto. But he didn't come all this way just to lose. Unfortunately though, in order to escape, Naruto had to do something more drastic than he's done so far. The entire village felt it. The sensors, they were mostly shocked, disturbed by the raw, heavy, insane amount of chakra. A distance away, Mito came to a stop as she was on a training ground. Confusion marred her vision, as she felt the sensation spreading through the ear. What the hell was that, she thought, and why does it feel so familiar? Back down below, Danzo's corpse lied on the ground. The seal was meant to take anyone with him and seal them within inside of his body. However, there Naruto stood. Everything around the two was burned to cinders. Everything. They were standing, well, Naruto was standing, in a colossal crater. It seems like everything had just been eviscerated, cause of what Naruto had done to stop himself from being submerged by Danzo. Moments later, Naruto made his way back to the surface. 30 minutes exactly. The time had played out in his favor as he arrived. He was complaining about not being kept waiting, but what the hell was this? Unfortunately though, Mito was nearby. She wasn't exactly in a training ground, she was by herself, having loved the seclusion lately. So she simply followed the strange energy that she felt. After all, even back in the days, she was a bit of a sensor but nothing too special. Jiraiya had taught her how to harness that energy though, how to sense the energy around her. As Mito arrived, the masked men arrived. Is it done? Yes, let's go. As Naruto's hood was not up, Mito landed downwards. Naruto's back was turned. However, his dark hair As he turned slightly, feeling something arrive behind him. The masked man placed a hand on his shoulder though. The problem was Naruto turned slightly, causing her to see the dark hair on the side of his face. The next moment, he was sucked away, along with the masked man. Mito stood there, shocked, confused. It didn't take long for the envoys to arrive, tracking the strange energy to this location. When they finally arrived on the destination, they looked around, confused as they saw Mito here, asking her to explain. However, realizing that it was coming from down below, the Inuzaka dogs, they could smell something beneath. It was faint because the earth was, well, the earth. It took some time as Tsunade was brought in, now standing there with Mito. They arrived to a rather shocking scene. Burn marks on the ground that shaped like corpses, and ashes in their remain. Tsunade had an idea who was behind this. However, when the dogs picked up on a scent, she was shocked to see Danzo Shimura lying there dead, its arm and eye missing. She got up as she turned her gaze towards Mito, who seemed out of it and extremely quiet, more so than usual. Time skip. What were you doing out there? Tsunade asked. I was training, Mito said, when I felt this strange tremor and a wave of chakra. So I decided to investigate. That is where the envoys found me. Tsunade narrowed her eyes. And that is all. Mito nodded. There was a brief quiet. Alright, dismiss, Tsunade said, allowing the girl to go because she had to deal with this immediately. However, she could swear that Mito knew something else. However, she had to make sure that this was grounded right away. She had to make sure that if whoever did this was still here, they could capture them. The rest of the village had no idea what kind of man Danzo was, but she knew. But to the rest of the village, he was a comrade of the third and a hero. So she had to do this very carefully. Moments later, you gave your position away. Even I could feel the amount of chakra from the area Zetsu have just informed me that they were able to find his corpse already. And that girl, she saw you. She did not, said Naruto. You made sure of that, and besides, why would they believe that I'm alive now, after all these years? It doesn't matter, none of this matter. He's dead. Let's just move on already. Back at the village, Sasuke looked rather concerned as he looked at Mito. Don't give me that look, she said. In the past, Mito had swore that she saw Naruto. Sasuke had tried to help her find this so-called Naruto that was still alive, despite the both of them seeing Naruto being consumed by his own flames that reduced everything to ashes. Unfortunately though, there was no Naruto there. And now she was saying the same thing. I'm not going crazy or something. You have to believe me. Danzo Shimura is dead. Sasuke was surprised to hear that. I did not tell the Hokage because I think Naruto was the one that did it. He looked at her confused. Even if what you're saying is true, why, when Naruto returned, now of all times, to kill someone within the Hidden Leaf is home? I don't know, but I need you to believe me in what I'm saying. He's alive. I'm not sure how, but he's out there. And this time it's no joke. Sasuke just looked at her. He was worried. Naruto's death was drastic on all of them. However, unlike some who was trying to move past and move on and try to accept that he was never coming back, it wasn't something that she would ever do, and he could see that clearly now. But Sasuke knew that Naruto was dead. He saw Naruto got consumed, and there was nothing left. Absolutely nothing. Time skip. Naruto refused to give him the eye. He never planned on doing so. said I belonged to his brother, which meant it was now his. However, unlike others who suffer the loss of their vision the more they overuse their mangetsu, so far Naruto has not overused the eye. However, there was still nothing. No blurriness, nothing at all. The masked man was unsure about this different genetics after all. This Sharingan was unlike any other Sharingan that they've ever seen before. So he wasn't quite sure how exactly it was going to play out, or how exactly it was going to work out. At the moment, Naruto was examining Danzo's arm, which had the Mokiton cells inside of it. It brought back something to his memory, information that he had read on the Uchiha tablet. The masked man had no idea that he possessed this. He knew that he possessed the Sharingan of his brother, but not this. After all, Naruto did not intend to follow the same plan that he had. He had something much more better, something that would actually bring peace, instead of living into a world that is filled with nothing but illusions. Time skip. Once again nighttime, as Naruto sat by himself, observing nothing really. The place was quiet. They were in a remote location, there was nothing around for miles. The stress of everything has been a bit overwhelming most times. However, he had to remind himself who and what he was fighting for. Those people that he cared about. However, the isolation, nothing, knowing how much they have suffered because they believed that he had perished that day. And the fact that he couldn't reach out and tell them anything, because getting involved in their life right now would only hurt them even more. When he planned to do what he planned to do in the end. However, if he was successful, he would be able to perform what he has to far faster than the time that was needed. He released a breath. Time skip. Days pass. Days turn into weeks and weeks turn into months. At the moment, there was a smile on Naruto's face as he was brought into the main fold. Yet still the members had no idea who he was. However, recently, there has been a death in the organization. But not just within the organization. Asuma Sarutobi had fallen, courtesy of Hidan and Kakazu. However, they were killed by Mito. Kakazu, that is. It said that she performed a new technique, a powerful technique that could be borderline S rank. And she killed him. And Hidan was taken down as well, shortening the members. Therefore, he decided to step in. The process for sealing the tail beasts were not slow. After all, Kisame had a monstrous amount of chakra. And the new members, they all saw him add a monstrous amount of chakra as well. However, he was not being paired with anyone. While they did lose 2 members, they can still go on the hunt. As the mission was now divided, and Naruto was given a task to accomplish. Tobi, there was another member. The one that everyone think was an idiotic fool. Him and Naruto were paired together, unknowing that this was all the masked man's suggestion, because he was using Naruto. Yes, to capture the tail beasts. So while Deidara and Sasori went after the 3 tails, they went after another. At the moment, Naruto ducked as a fist passed his face. The amount of force behind the fist jostled the ear in front of him. Naruto flipped away, dodging the steam. The 5th tail host, Han, his body clad in a strange red samurai armor. His fist pulverized the ground as steam shot everywhere. This wasn't any ordinary steam. This was steam that could melt bone. with enough concentration. However, Naruto had moved with incredible speed. Han spun and took the full blow of Naruto punch to his armor, believing that it would not come through. However, he was shocked when the front plate of his armor cracked open. The force jostled him as he dropped to one knee. As Naruto's knee crashed in his face, Han stepped back. Naruto spun and kicked him so hard, his body bounced across the ground at least 10 times. He slammed into a trench, his body coming to a stop within it. Despite that though, he started to get to his feet, filling the place with his steam as he was about to release it all on Naruto. However, Naruto brought his hand up. His hand started to glow, a bright yellow color. Han was charging at him like a bull, even pulling on the tail beast's chakra. This attack could reduce anyone to a skeleton, and he was gonna use it all on Naruto as he dashed with all the speed he could muster. A distance away, the masked man was watching the whole scene as he witnessed with his own eyes Naruto pulled off a very powerful technique that he's never seen before. He had to give the child props. He was the one that created something like this. He was a distance away and yet he felt the heat. It was intense. Truly intense. However, that was a stupid thing to do. Making his way down there. You're not supposed to kill the Jinchuriki. He's not dead, said Naruto. You walk down here and say that. Do you think I'm an idiot? All that we've done, all that we're going to do, do you think I'm going to waste that all by killing the Jinchuriki and having to wait for a much longer time for it to be reborn, the beast inside of him? Making his way, Han's armor was gone completely. The technique did not fully hit him, courtesy of Naruto not allowing it to hit, because if it had, behind Han, the entire forest was gone. Everything was just gone. There was nothing remaining. The forest was not small either. The backlash of the technique alone was able to reduce Han's armor to nothing. It melted so bad that some of it melted into his skin. However, the force of the new technique that Naruto had been working on for years now took Han out without much difficulty. And that was another success for the organization. Time skip. He was always saying that you were a genius, Naruto said, standing by himself. Well, it seems that way, but he wasn't really alone. Itachi Uchiha found him. Yes, Itachi found him. The man knew. He knew that Naruto was alive. After all, he was within. His Susanoo at the time, Itachi had felt the chakra invaded the area, the disturbance, and then it suddenly vanished. Itachi knew that there was only one person that can do something like that. That came to be an active ghost. He's been using his time carefully to try and find him, and he finally found Naruto. Away from the organization just by himself. They all think that you're dead. Why? Would you choose this path? Is it to get close to me and end my life? Because if you think enough of that, said Naruto, I know everything. I know that you were forced to kill them all. I know the sacrifice my brother made. I know everything, so don't bother. Itachi knew there was only one person that could tell him. Danzo is dead. I believe the Hokage is keeping it a secret, not wanting people to know that an outsider just entered the village and killed one of their top people. I was the one that took his life. Don't worry, the secret is still safe. I'm not going to rob that away from you. You did all of that, you sacrificed so much. You went through so much pain and anguish. I won't rob you of all of that. But I need to know something. How do you do it, said Naruto. How can you stand there, knowing what you have done, knowing what you're still doing, to a person that you care about so much in this world that you're willing to risk and sacrifice everything for? There was complete silence, as no one said a word. Itachi stepped forward, both of them shoulder to shoulder, but not touching. As Itachi looked over the horizon, it is because I love Sasuke, that is why. I had to do what I had to do. And it's because I still love him, that is why. I plan on falling at his hands, no one else but his. However, I was worried. I was worried for the sake of Konoha and the sake of the world after I left this world. But you're still here. And I have no doubt in my mind that you're doing this because you care for them. What if my opinions and thoughts have changed, said Naruto. No, I don't see it as such. You were always someone that cared for people more than you should. But after what happened to Shisui, you changed. But over the years, you became close once again with my brother and with that girl, Mito. You're working with the masked man. You must know more than you are letting on. I do indeed. And I don't share the same ideal that he does. And I'm going to stop him, said Naruto. But I just needed to know, how were you able to do that? How were you able to willingly risk everything, sacrifice everything, love, compassion, your heart? But now I know. Now I know, said Naruto. Go ahead and do what you have to do. Sasuke deserves to feel at peace. Because if he does not kill you, it will haunt him, and he can never truly move on. I will make sure that he never knows. And I will make sure that he and everyone is safe. It doesn't matter what it does to me. Because in the end, I'm doing this for the people I love. Itachi was rather shocked at Naruto's maturity. Never knew that anyone else could possess the same mental capacity that he possessed to do what he has to do. Itachi could see it, though he could see how tired Naruto was. Not physically, of course, but mentally. How stressed and broken he actually was. Time skip. Itachi lured them, allowing information to pass to Konoha about his whereabouts. Sasuke demanded to be sent on this mission. The team was interrupted by Kisame, allowing Itachi to fight Sasuke. Itachi and Sasuke came face to face after all these years. Once again, Sasuke had so much vengeance for all that Itachi did. A brutal battle ensued. Yes, a very vicious and brutal battle. Mito and Kisame and Kakashi and the others were fighting. Luckily though, Team Guy once again was sent to back them up. But it wasn't just Team Guy alone. Team Kurenai was sent without Kurenai. All of them were there scouting the area. Yes, they were all there, as they all conversed. Kisame was actually overwhelmed. All of them from all forces. The battle was cut short though, as they saw a monstrosity in the far distance. A red monstrosity. They saw the heavens turn black. Throughout that all Naruto stood, a distance away watching all of it. He watched the brothers fought. In the past, he wanted to give everything to kill Itachi. He would have done everything to slaughter Itachi, but now, there he was just watching, observing. His mind focused on the battle, his eyes, observing everything from where he was. Naruto felt something. He spun around and knocked it away. It was Mito. She crashed on the ground as Naruto jumped away. However, Mito arrived behind him. He spun and grabbed her arm and threw her. As he landed, but the moment he did, he was stunned for a single moment. It was a seal. Jiraiya had taught her rather well. A paralyzing seal as he was hit. With a powerful wing technique that crashed him into a tree branch. Mito had created an army of clones to help Sasuke in any way possible. However, the faint as Naruto chakra was, they picked up on the faint tiny trail. One would have just skipped by this, but two clones decided to investigate as they saw something. A person standing there. Realizing it was the same person from before. And the one that was in Konoha as well. The original was called. So she planted a seal right there, while using the clone as a distraction. And for a brief moment, it only took Naruto a second to unbind it by using his overwhelming chakra to overpower the seal. But that is all it was used for, just to bind him for a brief moment. As his hood was blown off his head, he had been using chakra to make it stay the way it was. However, seeing her being so close, he fumbled, not expecting her to be there, not to mention Mito had came out of nowhere. She was using the hiding Fuinjutsu seal that Jiraiya taught her, that was able to mask one chakra on an extreme level. Her knowledge on Fuinjutsu had come a very extreme long way. It's you. Tears in her eyes. She stood there looking at the person that she thought she lost all those years ago. He was alive. He was alive. As Mito looked at him, her eyes not leaving his face. He was older and everything, but it was him. Tears gathering and starting to run down her cheeks. Naruto cursed himself in his mind, rather violently, angry, vengeful. He messed up. He messed up so goddamn bad. Meanwhile, that was going on. At the Hidden Rain, another tragedy was taking place. As Jiraiya, he went on his own. He did not take backup or anything. He went on his own. There was something that he had to check out. Information that he got. And he decided to confirm if it was correct or not. However, that right there was going to be his downfall. As another insane battle took place. However, Jiraiya did not exit this one with his life. But he did leave behind a message though for Mito. The last thing he saw was the water and his vision going dark as he was consumed by it all. The Sannin fell on that day. But not only Jiraiya. Itachi Uchiha, a man that sacrificed everything, a man that gave everything up, also fell on that day as well. A truly horrible day for the people that risk a lot, and they were killed by those who they had a deep, shared bond with. Sasuke Uchiha. Watch as his brother collapsed right there and then. After whispering his final words to him, his brother died. It seems like the heavens started to mourn their death as rain started to pool down on them. Kisame had fled from the area. He felt it. He felt there was no more of Itachi. He left the area. As the group arrived, Sakura immediately rushed towards Sasuke. However, he was alive. She breathed a sigh of relief. It was in that moment the masked man finally arrived on the scene. As Zetsu, he arrived beside Zetsu. Where is he? He asks. Naruto was nowhere he was able to find him, so he had to be here. Zetsu looked towards him. Back over towards the other scene. The confrontation. The shocking one. The unbelievable confrontation that she never thought she would ever have. Naruto, Mito said. But guys, to be in subscribe right here. If you want to see next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.